Hello, this is Noah Smith. If you've reached this video, it's because perhaps, on a deep level, you've already felt this, that there is a moment in the day when everything feels sacred, when the world is still silent, when the sun hasn't fully risen, when time seems suspended. There is an invisible portal, and it opens for those who are awake. I'm not talking about being physically awake, I mean an inner vigilance, a silent call that can only be heard with a pure heart and a present soul. This is the morning silence portal. It has no physical address, it's not a place but a state. It manifests in that brief space between night and day, when the soul, free from the world's distractions, has the chance to remember who it truly is. Maybe you've never stopped to notice, but this moment exists, and it carries codes of healing, deep revelations, answers that cannot be captured by words. Today, I want to guide you through this space. Let's cross together the threshold between the visible and the invisible, because when all is silent, the soul finally manages to listen, and what it hears changes everything. The sacred moment before the world wakes. There is a moment in the day that doesn't belong to time. It has no rush, no noise, no demands. It simply is. It's the moment when birds haven't yet sung, streets have not yet moved, and the world seems asleep but not dead. In that subtle gap between the end of night and the birth of day, the soul finds a field of pure listening. Everything is suspended, and in that stillness an ancient wisdom quietly awakens within us. Most people pass through this moment without noticing. They sleep or get lost in the anxiety of what's to come. But those who choose to sit in that silence, even for a few minutes, discover a mystery. There is a point of access, an invisible portal that reveals itself only to those who dare to stop, who do not fear the void, who allow the mind to rest and the spirit to speak. It is in this interval that the heart aligns with the universe's rhythm. The ego silences. Worries dissolve for a moment, and the soul begins to remember, not memories as usual, but its essence, its mission, its true nature. It is in this sacred space that healing begins, not as an effort, but as a consequence of deep listening, the language of the soul that only silence understands. The soul doesn't speak in words. It whispers in feelings, vibrations, inner images. And the curious thing is that deep down, we have all heard this language, even without realizing it. It is that inexplicable sense that something is right or wrong, the sudden shiver without reason, the tear that falls without apparent pain. All of this is the soul trying to communicate, but almost always drowned out by the noise of the world and the mind. The morning silence is the soul's secret dictionary. When everything outside of us is calm, something inside begins to emerge. And then, effortlessly, we start to understand what was never taught with words. It is like remembering something that was never said, but was always there. The soul doesn't need to explain. It simply shows, and in that showing, truth reveals itself gently, without arguments, without fights, without resistance. That's why when we sit in that silence, we feel deeply touched. We don't know exactly why, but we feel it. And this feeling is the portal. Silence allows the soul to speak, and more than that, allows us to listen. In that listening, there is no logic, there is surrender, there is communion, there is a return home. A home that is not physical but vibrational. A home that is us, in essence. Reconnecting with what was forgotten, the soul was never lost. It was only covered up by pain, by duties, by external voices. But in the morning silence, when nothing demands from us, when we are no longer parents, children, workers, or social roles, something true emerges. The soul remembers, and when it remembers, we also remember, not facts, but a presence, a state of being, a connection that always existed, even when we thought we were alone. What we have forgotten throughout life were not just details or experiences. We forgot our wholeness. We forgot that we are part of the whole, that we are not here just to survive, but to experience the truth of who we are. And this truth is not grandiose in the world's eyes. It is serene, loving, simple, but powerful enough to heal, transform, and give meaning to everything. In this reunion, there is no judgment. The soul does not accuse us for forgetting. It only rejoices that we have returned, because reconnecting with the essence does not require effort. It only needs space, and the morning silence is that space, a space where everything we were, everything we are, and everything we can be, align, integrate, embrace. And in this embrace, the forgotten comes back to life. The present moment as the key to the infinite now is not just a moment. It is a door, and what lies beyond it is not the future. It is the eternal. It's hard to understand this when the mind is busy with what comes next, or trapped in what is already past. But in the morning silence, the now reveals itself as it truly is. Whole, complete, enough. There we realize that eternity is not an infinite line in time. It is a depth in the present. At this very moment, when you breathe consciously, you are touching infinity. You don't need to do anything grand, nor understand elevated concepts. You just need to be. And when you are whole, in the now, you tune in to the part of yourself that never sleeps, never suffers, never fears. The part that knows, the part that is divine, The morning silence returns this presence to us, this forgotten awareness that the sacred is here, right now, within us. That's why so many masters, so many spiritual paths point to the present as the true miracle, because in it, everything dissolves. The past, the guilt, the anxiety, the separation, only being remains, and this being is peace, love, pure consciousness. By entering this moment with an open heart, you don't just find yourself, you recognize yourself as a living part of the universe itself. When the soul awakens, the universe responds. The universe does not react to appearances, it responds to vibration. When the soul awakens, truly awakens, the reality around begins to reorganize, not by magic, but by resonance. Everything you start to vibrate from silence, from presence, from love, echoes in the quantum field of creation. And this echo is heard, life listens to you, and begins to return exactly what you have begun to emit. That's why many transformations happen not when we act, but when we align. When we stop shouting and learn to listen. When we stop controlling and choose to trust. The awakening of the soul is a realignment with the flow of creation. And when this happens, doors open, paths clear, right people appear, and even challenges change tone. Because now you vibrate from a different place. A place that recognizes what really matters. The soul doesn't need to prove itself. It only needs to be, and by being, it creates, silently, deeply, powerfully. At the moment you remember who you are, the universe also remembers who you came here to be, and it supports you, responds to you. Because all creation begins in the invisible, and the invisible begins in silence. The invitation to awaken in silence. We have reached the end of this journey through the morning silence portal, that sacred space where the soul remembers who it truly is. I hope you have felt, even if only for a moment, the invitation to dive into this silence, to allow yourself this deep reconnection with your essence. Remember, silence is not emptiness, but a portal of infinite possibilities. It is there that the soul finds healing, wisdom, and strength to move forward. So today, when the day breaks, allow yourself to be present in that moment. Breathe, listen, and feel life calling you home. I would love to know, what was your experience with this space of silence? Please leave your comment below, share your impressions and questions. And if this video touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, we can continue walking together on this journey of awakening and consciousness. Until next time, with more light and peace.